Hello and welcome to another webinar put on by LiDAholics. It's been a little while, so I apologize about that. Before we get started, I want to remind everybody that tonight is another Lido's Lounge. Everybody's welcome. It's just a place you can come and get help with your reality capture workflows or just BS with a bunch of industry professionals. Every other Wednesday at 4 p.m. PST. It's a great time. Come check it out. Today's webinar is one I'm really excited about. It is a unique device, especially one I didn't think I'd be talking about originally. I named my company LiDAholics after LiDAR, and I never thought photogrammetry would be so cool and so accurate. But not too much to do. I will be bringing on Dominique Meyer. He is the CEO of LOOQ AI, and he's going to tell us a little bit about that, and then we'll go into questions. So, Dom, welcome to the stage.
Thank you so much for having me today, Mac.
Oh, yeah, anytime. So why don't you go ahead and tell us about LOOQ AI and maybe a little bit about the history of it and where you're headed.
Yeah, absolutely. So a bit of background about myself. I came out of the University of California, San Diego, where we were developing these massive camera systems that were sitting on top of self-driving vehicles to be able to replace LiDARs. And our hypothesis was that if we can do it with cameras, we can be significantly cheaper and significantly faster and doing it at scale. We were able to detect pedestrians walking across roads over 200 meters away and seeing how fast they were walking and making sure that cars driving safely. As I finished my PhD, I wanted to apply this to the real world, and that's where the idea of LOOQ came about. So today we're a company based in Southern California, San Diego, where we're building what I think is one of the coolest computer vision technologies out on the market today. Our hardware side consists of a 4-camera system, what you see right here. It's got a front camera, a left and a right camera, and a top camera, as well as a survey-grade GNSS system, tri-band built into it. And the real beauty of this is that it's 100% camera-based. So you can walk around your sites, capture images of those sites, and then on our AI platform, those images get transformed using our own revolutionary photogrammetry algorithms into 3D point clouds and asset intelligence databases. So today we are used across 2 industry verticals. One is the traditional survey world. So anytime you do a boundary survey, a topo of a road, a residential area, a bridge, it's a really, really great tool for that. And then the other side is the utility engineering front. So across the US and Canada, there's over 400 million distribution poles. Those need to be surveyed on average every 4 years. And our technology is being used all over to be able to capture those assets and do pole models out of it. So really, really beautiful 2 niche markets that we're serving today. And we're excited to be diving into a little bit into more details today around that. So I thought what might be good is to actually give a quick introduction of what this looks like from a technology perspective, so that everyone here who has seen it before, who has not seen it before, can get a feeling on what the data quality that comes out of it is. And even when I look at these data sets, I'm astounded by the beauty and quality behind these, but then also into the workflows, right? So let's dive into this a little bit, and then towards the end, we will open it up towards more of a Q&A style question with Max, so we can dive into that. So before I get going, let me pull up a few slides so you can actually see what this technology looks like, and we can go from there. So give me 1 second here. And if you have any questions along the way, feel free to drop those into the chat so we can answer those as we go along right afterwards. So perfect. There we go. So everyone should see this right now, and then we're going to jump into a little bit of a video right away. So how's our technology used today? It's a very easy to use system. So the system is handheld, so anyone can walk it around. It's lighter than most LiDAR stamp systems on the market today, so you'll actually save some time in working out by having a LiDAR system. There's a battery that sits on your belt, a cable that connects to it, and the phone that we ship with the system that streams the live data collection as you're recording it. Images get captured, and then as they get uploaded, those get uploaded into clouds and transformed into these 3D point clouds. We run our own PPK service, so it's post-processing kinematic of our GNSS. By default, pull in any local cores or reference stations, but if you do have a local-based receiver, you will be able to leverage that RANX file as well to be able to do that georeferencing of the data set. Finally, if you have control points, you can tie down to those control points to have the highest degree of accuracy on those residuals that are generally between a few thousands and a few hundreds of a foot. So very, very tight accuracies on that front. As it comes to the AI extraction, what we're really focused on is understanding what those assets are, and we're incrementally releasing tools that make feature extraction significantly easier. On the survey side, we have recently released what is called the qSurvey tool. The qSurvey tool is a 3D point picking and feature coding tool that is in our web application. So you can actually go in and extract individual 3D points and polylines out of that, classify those according to industry standard feature codes that you define, and export that into tools such as Civil 3D, Trimble Business Center, and others. So it's a very streamlined and easy to use workflow. Our goal, again, is to make it an easy and to use platform, right? So everything from field data collection into upload, cloud processing, make sure you have the control, make sure you have the visibility and the quality of the GNSS corrections, all the way to the feature extraction, is to make it a seamless and easy and all-included platform based work. So with that, I'll dive into a little bit on the survey side. So a lot of our users use this for, I'm going to say, topo work because of the point density and quality that comes out of it. What you see here is a 3 or 4 minute walk around a parking lot that was converted for EV chargers, and you can see those there. So everything as it comes to curbs, those are beautifully clean. You'll see the noise profiles. There's no fluff around those. It's a really clean, sharp fall off on those curves, which is easy for feature extraction. And that's our goal here, is to make the data as clean as possible and make it easy for the feature extraction. The really important part here to know is that normally in terms of point density, we equate to what is an RTC 360 or a far level LiDAR scanner as it comes to exteriors primarily today, because of that point density. As our point sampling distance today is around between 0.5 millimeter to about 1.5 millimeters to 2 millimeters, right? So it's a very, very dense point path that you can work with. Today we are focused on exteriors, as I said, so don't take our technology inside of buildings just yet. But right now we're really focused on those exteriors and getting the really great data products out. We see LOOQ as a very complementary workflow. So I'm not saying go and replace all your total stations, go and replace all your LiDAR scanners with LOOQ. LOOQ is a tool that is a augmentation to your workflows as we have it. It's going to be used in addition to your total station to set control points, make sure your control system is tied down. You're going to be complementing it with your local-based systems. You're going to be complementing your flowers from the interiors with the looks on the exteriors, right? So it's a really great tool to fit into your toolbox as a complementary standing for what you have currently. Now diving into a little bit more of the survey language, which I assume most of you on here are interested in. A bit about the workflow. What we recommend is a combination of both having a local base, if you do have one, set up on a known reference point, and the ability to also have control points. Those control points are basically marks on the ground, and we'll go to get into that shortly here. Then you turn on the LOOQ system and you get some satellite observations for a few minutes, and then you start walking around. The walking, the simple thing is that what you can see will reconstruct. So if you're trying to get the bottom of a curve, you're going to want to hold the camera over the sidewalk a little bit to see that bottom of the curve. Adding a bit of a staking pattern and a lawnmower pattern like a UAV system would help guarantee that geometric constraint quality. And then afterwards, you're confident that the data set you have will be good. On the UI of our system, you actually have a little walking path so you can see where you have been to make sure that the coverage is good for the data you've collected. Then once you get to the office, the workflow is pretty simple. You upload your CSV file of the control points that you have, and you will go in and pick those in the 3D point cloud. Because the point cloud is so dense, it's actually very easy to pick up everything from PK nails, put a spray paint around it, to larger targets and markers, to paint stripe corners, whatever you need to have good visual representations of the points measured in your reference tools. That'll again give you a residuals report for any check shots or control points. That residuals report is important for surveyors to sign off on this data, have the trust in the accuracies of this, and then with the optionality of doing the feature coding with the QSurvey tool in the LOOQ Q or externally, you can then export the point cloud, the panoramic imagery, and the feature code files into whatever software you're used to. Visit Civil 3D, Topodot, MicroStation. All of these are fully supported on our end for the integration side. We'll jump into this a little bit here. Normally, when you do captures today, we recommend about a 15 to 20 minute capture. We actually recently released some updates that allows us to go up to 40 minutes, so I'll capture larger areas, so you can do that. As I said, using a local base is going to help you achieve better results than a automatic, of course, received base. And then as you walk around, that's going to have you really good coverage. What you see on the right here is actually the walking path for a capture for topo. This only took, I think, a little bit under 10 minutes for the site right here, but it's a way to really guarantee that consistency in the geometry to achieve residuals that are in the thousands of hundreds, right? So that's really our goal. We have really, really clean data coming out of it with some excellent residuals. As it comes to loop closures, you guys might be familiar for that concept from LiDAR scanners. The big thing with LiDAR scanners is that it requires vertical features to be able to know where that camera is or the LiDAR system is in space. In our case, we don't need vertical features because we use visual features. So when you're walking around a parking lot where there's no vertical features, our cameras will actually see points on the ground and will match those points on the ground as the camera moves. What that allows us to do is to guarantee geometric accuracies in open environments where a LiDAR slam, for example, would fail and would drift. And that's really important. We don't per se need loop closures, but we benefit from geometric constraints, right? So what we'll call it is analogous loop closures. So you want to have that lawnmower pattern or that snaking pattern to be able to guarantee the best quality around this. Anytime you hit a control point, there's a point of interest button on our system where you can basically get the camera close and focus that point that you're targeting. Hit a point of interest, and that's going to be easily show up in the web application. And we recommend a little orbit around that control point so you can actually see from multiple perspectives. All those 4 circles that you see up here are ones that were control points that the user orbited around as you took that data. As it comes to control points, we can, as I said, support multiple types. If it's a score or some spray paint, if it's a PK nail, if it's the corner of a tile or a paint stripe, we can leverage that. The important thing is that you can visually see it and that you orbit around it. That way it's really easy extraction. So it's a very versatile tool, and we can fit into, I'm going to say, every traditional survey workflow that already exists in the market today. For linear corridors, which is also a very large use case, safety is paramount. So what we recommend crews to do is walk up safe medians and sides of the roads, stay clear from that. Again, walking some snaking helps, and walking both directions helps while facing the camera in both directions. And that's going to allow you to have really robust geometries and the matching of the images between the different sides of the road that are taken. And of course, the loop closures around the extremities of those sides really helps to be able to guarantee the quality and geometric accuracy. As you have multiple scans, what you're going to want to do is make sure that every one of these scans has at least 3 control points that you tie down to. So in this case, you see a area at the top that was captured first, and the first capture, and then an area on the bottom that was part of the second capture. Every one of these control points has been shot in with a total station or a long static observation on the GNSS. And what that means is that as you align both those separate scans into the control points, those will be nicely geo-referenced. Make sure there's a bit of overlap so that there is consistency across that, and it'll guarantee that there is good alignment and geo-referencing of both those scans. Again, with our increased capture time, this now can be merged to a single scan as you're capturing. But of course, we recommend as much flexibility as possible as we develop the technology. So with that, I'm going to pause it here, and then Mac, I'll let you jump in here, and then we can maybe transform this into a bit of a Q&A for the audience.
Yeah, so thank you for all that information. I do appreciate how deceivingly simple the qCam is. Not a whole lot of moving parts for people to break. How fast, if I were to buy it, how fast do you think I could have one of my guys out in the field and being proficient with it?
Yeah, so the way I like to say it is that anyone who picks this camera within 5 minutes knows how to use it. All right, and that's our general rule of thumb, is to build technology that is intuitive and easy. But at the end of the day, it's about the end-to-end workflow, right? Someone capturing a LOOQ data set is just one part. Getting a LOOQ data set with feature extraction and the whole workflow is what's really important. And our customer success team, Kevin and Lucas and the rest, they're dedicated to working with your teams to be able to make sure that you don't just get a LOOQ system to capture some cool point clouds, but you actually understand how to change your business to be successful in leveraging this end-to-end solution, right? So we will go and sit down with you to train you up on how to use the LOOQ, give you feedback on the capture process, give you feedback on the integration with your existing technology, give you feedback on how to do the feature extraction efficiently. And what that means is that your ROI is there, right? Normally what we're seeing is a survey crew that needs to do a one single site refielding because of missed points, pays for the technology within 1 or 2 days of the month, right? So it's a very, very simple technology, but for us, it's not just a simple capture, it's about a really successful end-to-end integration with your teams. That's what I care about.
And what do you think your customers' biggest motivation is when they're switching from their traditional methods to the LOOQ? What do you see their main motivation being?
Money and time is the short answer. And time is money. So that's where it comes down to. So what we're seeing in the industry is a huge demand for fast turnaround projects, right? We're seeing residential topos that need to be delivered within 24 to 48 hours to end clients and have competitive pricing. If you're shooting it traditionally, you spend the whole day on the field, on site, with a total station shooting it in, right, with your survey rod or your GPS. And then you come back, and the next day you realize you missed a gutter shot or you missed a curb shot, and guess what? You have to go back out and recollect it. With LOOQ, all of a sudden you've got all those measurements virtually at your fingertips. And what that means is that you don't need to refield. You can add an extra point in the point cloud, and you're good to go. And at the end of the day, what this means is that you're going from sometimes 2-person crews that spent 8 to 9 hours in the field to a 1-person crew spending an hour in the field. Set up your control, hit it with LOOQ, and do your feature extraction office. And all of a sudden, we're seeing ROIs. Like an average survey company today will probably use their OPEX by about 43% by leveraging this technology to complement what they're doing in the workflow. Right? So it's not about replacing, it's about making their work more efficient, faster, and still trusting, because accuracy at the end of the day is what people really care about.
So speaking of faster, I know a lot of land surveyors I talk to have started to adopt new technologies, and their big complaint right now is, yes, I'm saving a ton of time in the field, but I'm transferring a lot of it to the office. You've mentioned feature extraction and a few other things. How does LOOQ attack that, and what is the best workflow you guys have come up with for feature extraction, AI, or anything automated?
Yeah, so what I'll do is maybe share my screen on what the Q-survey tool looks like, because that's really what the trick is to be able to get the speed here. So I'm gonna beautiful. Thank you, Mac. So this is what our lines of control tool looks like, and this has been built by surveyors for surveyors, right? And what we care about is making it intuitive and super easy. Those points directly, and it'll give you the residuals on that. But what I really want to touch on is the LOOQ virtual survey tool, and this is the part which we do the virtual field coding, and it's so simple, right? Anyone who's been spending time in the field and knows how to shoot curves and points knows how to do this in the office. And to your question, Mac, on how is LOOQ helping people shift to back office workflows, it's through exactly tools like this. So what I'll pull up here is a quick video link, and I'll hopefully change the screen share over to this, and then hopefully this should work. So share screen. So we're going to do this window. Hit the play button. There we go. So as users can now use the LOOQ dataset to do their virtual surveys, we're just going to walk you quickly through how this looks like on the feature code library. So you can either import your standard feature code library from your existing tools, or you can leverage our default LOOQ template. What that means is that you're going to assign your different layers. Is it control layer, road race, striping, and all of that. And then you can go into the point cloud and actually start adding these different points and polygons. So what Kevin will do here is actually add in a individual point, type in the feature code on the bottom left, as you can see, and then you can start clicking those around. And what is powerful about this is that now someone who spent an hour in the morning doing that fielding of LOOQ can also be the same person in the back office doing that for a few hours. And that's often what we're seeing today crews doing is instead of shifting to different people doing it in the back office, it's actually doing the same person that did the fielding is now doing the virtual surveying in the back office to collect those points, because they're the ones who saw on the field environments, the features they wanted to pick up on as they walked around the LOOQ system. And being able to do it so easily in the LOOQ platform allows us to now be very, very efficient in doing that. Right? So our goal is to make it so that within hours of fielding, you're going to be able to have a full final deliverable that is generated end to end within the LOOQ platform and make your life significantly easier.
Yeah. So and then that's what I usually tell them is you might add a little bit of time to your office work, but it's a safe and a controlled environment, which is a lot better, I think, for everybody involved. I watched a crew a month or two ago out in the middle of parent pickup at the end of the school day, trying to topo a road, and parents are just zooming by in each way, and that could have all been taken care of well before parents showed up by just qCamming it real quick and doing all that work in the office. So it's nice to see you guys are addressing that. I do also really appreciate the fact that you guys are hardcore after the surveyors market. That's a market that I feel is not ignored, but not appreciated by a lot of the other vendors or manufacturers. So that's awesome. But what other industries are you seeing adopt the qCam?
Yeah, so the survey market is a really great one because it puts to test what the quality and accuracies of our algorithms and systems are. If the surveyors buy it and the surveyors sign off on data, then all other industries follow, right? Which is great. So other industries that are really hot for us are, of course, as I said, the utility industry. So everything with above ground lines and poles, so distribution and transmission lines, substation mapping, very, very high demands because of the pressures on the grid and the demand for electricity rising. We need to build more infrastructure. We need to distribute our power around the US. Data centers, electric vehicle charging infrastructures, huge demand. At the same time, we're seeing this being used for example, gas valve markout sites, right? So anytime you're doing undergrounding, you're going to have your markout spray paints put on the ground, and then you need to digitize that. And what do they use? LOOQ is the fastest solution out there that's going to capture the detail, geospatial accuracy, and have a very fast turnaround time. Right? Like I don't know many technologies that you can go from a field to a finished product in under 24 hours. And that's our goal here, is to make this streamlined, easy, and powerful to do. Where I'm excited about is the AI feature functionality, right? LOOQ is an AI company that's really focused on not just making incremental, cool new point cloud, because again, if you want a point cloud, there's many other tools that can do that. LOOQ is focused on building the foundations to automation. and that automation is going to be gradually released, and we've got some exciting announcements coming out very shortly here to be able to automate those feature extractions. Right? On the pole side, what we're really looking at is equipment detection, understanding, is it a transformer? Is it an attachment point from a line to a insulator? That is very specific data that is very valuable, and that no amount of LiDAR point clouds are ever going to get us to do, because you need to use the image resolution to be able to detect those in 2D and 3D. And that was a progressive step towards us, what I call geophysical intelligence, understanding what our assets are, what their state is. Can we now layer on top visible observations such as corrosion, concrete sprawling onto this, so that we have context and understanding of what is the state of health of those assets, right? And that's where I'm super excited about it, is pushing the boundaries of what is possible on our infrastructure that we all rely on it.
Nice. Now, you had mentioned new features and stuff, and I want to come back to that towards the end. But you've had a recent push into international markets and outside of the U.S. Has there been any unique challenges or differences in markets that you've noticed overseas?
So I think globally there's a big recognition that coordinate systems and coordinate system standardization is a really big topic. I mean, we're seeing local projected systems that different surveyors, municipalities, DOTs require and leverage. And that causes a lot of friction, right? Because all of a sudden you've got different stakeholders, different subcontractors, contractors that all have a different understanding of a different level of adoption of these coordinate systems. And then surveyors, right, they get scared, right? Because they don't know if they can trust the LiDAR point clouds. One example I'll use is that actually in SoCal, one of the utilities we work on, we got told, hey, our data is not accurate. And we're like, how is that possible? And then we looked at how they compared us to. They compared us to a point cloud collected from an aerial LiDAR system. And then we dove into it, and the georeferencing was done incorrectly on that LiDAR point cloud that was signed off by some other engineer or surveyor, and they didn't know that it was a different coordinate system. And all of a sudden, there's this whole misconception around coordinate systems and accuracies that fall downstream of it. And we went out and proved, no, we are survey grade. Here are the accuracy reports. Here's the PPK report. This is what basically used the search and control check shots, and it all checked out, right? So to me, as we launch into international markets, it's about very crystal clear understanding of what coordinate systems we're in, supporting those that local authorities need, and then also a lot of compliance, right? So I mean, we are a US made product, and I'm proud to say, like, we're built in San Diego. All the hardware is built in San Diego. It's quality controlled, tested, updated. Our support teams are North America based, right? So it's a huge thing to be able to ship a US made product in the US and even internationally, and getting that trust and of adopters has been absolutely tremendous.
So on your website, you talk about physical AI. Can you kind of talk about the definition of that and what that means?
Yeah. So when I talk about geophysical AI, I talk about this geospatial part of it, right? Having context to where data is in the world to a degree of accuracy, trust that we understand it and rely on it, right? Then there's the physical piece. And the physical piece is one that is, I want to say, traditionally overlooked to a large degree. When you create a point cloud from a LiDAR scanners, right, we have a colorization RGB, if there's a paired camera, and we have an intensity and a return, right? And that's about as far as we go. In our case, our algorithms actually look at the pixels on every image that is taken of our system, and we in our AI system understand what is actually in the scene. Is it a concrete? Is it grass? Is it a textured wall? Is it paint? And that allows us to have much stronger and better consistencies in the reconstruction and the geometry that we're reconstructing. But it also allows us to have an understanding of what the state of health is, right? And the key example I'm going to use here on the utility front is specifically on the equipment detection. Can we now leverage cues such as corrosion or rust or oil leaks on a transformer to infer that this transformer now is likely to fail in 6, 8, 10, 12 months? And because we have an extensive set of data that covers the world being captured with LOOQ, all of a sudden LOOQ is positioned to solve not the problem of, hey, here's a pole or here's a transformer and here's the height of that, but can we now do predictive maintenance? Can we now do predictive analysis on geophysical data to help owner operators? And that's our play here. It's really not just building another point cloud tool. It's building the geophysical intelligence tool so that we are able to operate and maintain our critical infrastructure efficiently. That's where we're after.
Nice. So the technology itself, the hardware, have you guys thought about taking it to a drone? I know you guys have it on vehicle and handheld. Are you guys happy with the ground-based?
You know, that's the number one question I get. Hey, can we mount this on a drone? Right? I mean, I guess you can mount the camera system on a drone. That's one thing. But the reality is that humans built the world from the ground up, and looking at it from the ground up is a great perspective. When you're doing a survey job and you're doing a topo in a urban or semi-urban environment, and you've got a tree that covers a curbside, with a lot of companies that fly to a UAV, but guess what? They're going to be missing their curbside shots under the tree because they can't see it from the air. All of a sudden, you're sending back out a crew to collect those curb shots under that tree. So what we found actually is that the ground-based solution is a very, very effective one to cover everything, right? Yes, you may not be walking as fast as a drone can fly, but you can operate in all environments. Is it airspace constrained environments? Is it seeing features that you can't otherwise from the air? So we're really happy about the handheld system actually and this positioning. I can't disclose too much about what's coming, hopefully very soon. But yeah, there might be things that you thought about that might be in the pipeline.
Well, that definitely leads into my last question is what can you tease and put out there as far as, you know, upcoming stuff that get people excited about it? And I know you can't give away too much, but
yeah. So what I can share, right, is we're really at the ethos of building that end-to-end automation, and that end-to-end automation is enabled for the AI that we are uniquely positioned to solve. So what you will be seeing out of LOOQ's pipeline is going to be the capabilities that are driven by AI feature extraction. Right, that's really what we're after, and making that back office job a lot easier. And then at the same time, being able to address some of the trickinesses of doing survey and data capture into the real world. We have users today taking it through bushes in high grass, in the snow in winter, when it's raining. Right, the realities of the physical world is that it's a tricky world to capture, and we need to be leveraging the smartest engineers in the world to be able to solve that. And that's exactly what we're doing. We're putting together the technology that allows us to take what is an incredible capture technology tool into all environments that are going to be limited in many ways for current technologies, right? So you're going to see an expansion in end-to-end feature extraction capabilities and also areas where our technology can be deployed in. And stay tuned, follow us on LOOQ, join our user conference, which is happening early May. Please find it on our website, LOOQ.ai, and you'll have all the information. It'll be located in sunny San Diego, amazing sunshine. We'll have working sessions with surveyors, with utility engineering firms, parallel tracks, and you will be hearing about new products. So I hope you all show up to that.
Perfect. I'm glad you brought that up. Also, if people want to learn more about LOOQ in general, LOOQ.ai is your guys' website. Is there any other resources they should look to?
Yeah, we are humans. I have been spending a lot of time in this industry, Kevin, Lucas, and we encourage you to reach out and have a chat. All right, like I know you can get information on our website. I know you can watch our webinars and all, but there's nothing that beats being hands-on with the technology. Go through Mac, get a few minutes of a look camera, try it out, see how it feels, get access to your data, look at the cleanliness. Those are the things that I care about, is being human and connecting with humans that use this technology to change the world. So feel free to reach out, and we're excited to help you along the journey.
Awesome. And it doesn't look like we have any questions from the audience. So unless there's anything else you want to add, Dom, I think this is where we're going to end it.
Matt, thanks so much for having me today, and excited to have some follow-ups with many of you folks.
And thank you for coming. And I highly encourage everybody to check out the qCam and look. If you care about accuracy, it's the way to go. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Bye, everyone. Bye.